So any mistake today could be heartbreaking for these teams. They will be on the pits, in the pits to change tires, take on fuel. It's going to be a busy pit road. Of course, a tricky pit road as well here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. A couple of curves in it, and with NASCAR's Truck Series here this weekend, some added technology to make sure nobody speeds on pit road. Now for the most famous words in motorsports, please join me in welcoming once again National Director of Sales from Total, Mr. Jack Fazzoli.
Drivers, start your engines.
And so the engines have been fired on all 25 of the NASCAR Pinty Series cars as we are just a few minutes away from rolling off of pit road. And then they will be making their way back on around. Kevin Lacroix, 74, sitting second in the championship. The pole sitter just 11 back of 27, Andrew Ranger, will be back there on the outside of row number 2. And Alex Tagliani, mathematically, with a shot here at the championship. And Tag in car number 18 will go from the outside of row 1. So 3 drivers separated by 17 points. But behind that trio, there are another 3 or 4 drivers who mathematically have still got a shot here at the championship. Things can really turn around in a hurry if some of those drivers at the top of the championship point standings do not have a good morning here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. Great to have you with us here today, ladies and gentlemen, on an absolutely picture-perfect day at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. We are glad you're here with us. Again, you can pick up our public address broadcast at 90.7 on your FM dial. Adam Ross will be joining us here shortly in the booth as we'll be bringing you lap-by-lap coverage of all 51 of the tours of this racetrack. And then following that, of course, this afternoon, we've got our feature race of the day and the weekend, the Chevrolet Silverado 250, the 7th renewal of the NASCAR Truck Series coming here to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and we should be in for 64 outstanding laps that kicks off at a little after 2:30 this afternoon. So the cars have started to roll, and the pole sitter Kevin Lacroix will lead them off of pit road. And as they run here behind the safety car, and once the safety car heads to pit road, it'll be up to Lacroix and Tagliani to bring the field together, lined up side by side, each of the rows off at turn number 10, and they'll be looking for that green flag first time by to get things underway. So we've got the Dodge Pace truck leading them out here in the NASCAR Pinty Series as we work our way to the start here in just a few minutes. Qualifying took place at the end of the day yesterday. It was back and forth at one point. Tagliani had the provisional pole, but late in the session, Kevin Lacroix was able to jump up there and grab that pole time. Gary Clute, car number 59. He certainly knows his way around this racetrack, both in a NASCAR Pinty Series car, but has also had laps and laps in various sports cars. The same with Anthony Simoni, the Aurora, Ontario driver in that Silver Line Tools CBRT, the best Canadian, best racing team, Dodge. Good qualifying run for him as he comes off of row number 3 on the outside. That number 1 car of Simoni, an outstanding road racer. As the cars now making their way through turns 3 as we look to get this one underway. 51 laps in the Total Quartz 200. Car number 26, Chandler Smith, the 17-year-old who has been racing in the ARCA Menard Series, where he has 4 poles and 4 wins. He does not have a whole lot of experience here on the road course at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, but the Talking Rock, Georgia driver should be getting faster and faster as they get up through the laps of this race. Improved towards the end of his qualifying session, and that is one driver to watch here, 26, Chandler Smith, the 17-year-old out of Georgia, and certainly one of the rising stars in NASCAR racing.
Pat, how much do you know about Talking Rock, Georgia?
Sounds like a small town somewhere in rural Georgia.
I don't know enough about it, but I'm intrigued by it. 2 pace laps are the order of the day, with the field behind the Dodge Ram pace truck, and it peels off the racetrack. Now it'll be in the hands of Canadian Tire Motorsport Park's official race vehicle.
That Chevrolet Camaro with the lights on. Next time by, looking for those lights to be turned off. The drivers forming up into their positions here, row by row, and we'll be looking for a start next time by.
A few stories we'll be following today, of course, that I mentioned it, I heard you mention it as well, the point standings. Kevin Lacroix in that red number 74 in the Total machine, he is on the pole. Andrew Ranger in the Mopar Pennzoil number 27, he is on the outside of row number 2. Ranger with an 11-point lead over Kevin Lacroix. This race has a higher risk factor than any race we will run for the rest of the year. 25 cars in attendance, live pit road. There are a lot of places these drivers can make mistakes, and a lot of places where they can really suffer the ramifications of a problem.
And so they continue to try to get as much heat into those general slick tires as they roll down through turn number 2. And again, Adam, the cars here, one of the areas that is going to be very vital here is that run, as it is with almost all of the other classes, that run out of Moss Corner. If you get into a big slide coming off a turn 5B, the right-hander, then it's going to affect your speed all the way up that Andretti straightaway. And you want to carry as much of that speed into the top of the S's at turn number 8. And you're looking for some nice rhythm through 8, 9, and 10 to come on the start-finish straightaway and to complete the lap. But these are very heavy race cars, and they're really muscling them as we look on the video screen here. The Chevrolet Camaro pace car works its way through Moss Corner, and there is that red and white bumper to bumper Dodge of Kevin Lacroix, the Chevrolet of Tagliani right behind him. They're out of turn 5B and heading up the Andretti straightaway and looking for the start next time by.
Yeah, the field's starting to take shape. They are doubling up down under the Mobile 1 sign. Lights out on the pace vehicle, says race director Rob Sharp. Wants a nice, tight, even group. Kevin Lacroix sets the pace as the pole sitter. Remember, points are so important. You get a point for leading a lap. So it's going to be the first lap at the Grand Prix de Trois Rivières. If you happen to watch that race, was absolutely insane between Ranger and Lacroix. I expect the same here. Thing to remember, this is their last road race of the season. So a lot of drivers know the road courses is their time to shine. Guys like Marc-Antoine Cameron, guys like LP Dhumal, and obviously they can do it on ovals or road courses, but Dhumal, Ranger, Tagliani, Cameron, they expect to win when we come to these road courses. This is the last road course opportunity of the year, and we are about ready to set sail. So coming up through turn number 8, the field winds its way. They let the pace vehicle peel away. It'll roll down pit road, and here they come through turn number 9. What a beautiful sight, race fans. Kevin Lacroix on that bumper-to-bumper number 74 setting the pace. Alex Tagliani alongside. It'll be a drag race down the front stretch as Lacroix rolls a little quickly off of turn number 10. The field starting to bunch up. Now we're under green in the Total Courts 200. Kevin Lacroix with a great start on the inside.
Lacroix with the inside position into turn number 1. Tagliani will tuck in right on his rear bumper as they peel off at turn 1 and head up to 2. We're already seeing some shuffling of positions at the tail end of that top 10. Into the top of turn number 2, it is Lacroix, the pole sitter, going to the front here on the opening lap. Tagliani runs in the second place position. Then it is Marc-Antoine Cameron in third and Andrew Ranger in the Dodge back there in fourth.
So the front of the field got single file very quickly. Deeper in the top 10, they're still sort of fanning out, people trying to make moves. As they work down into 5A and 5B, deep in the field, we've got Ryan Clute making a move to the inside of Donald Teague. Teague trying to work him into turn 5B, and they are dead neck and neck coming off the corner and onto that long back straightaway.
And it looks like Teague will retake the position as they went side by side out of 5B. They work up the Andretti straightaway on lap number 1 of 51 into the top of the S's. It's that red and white number 74 bumper to bumper Total Gates Dodge of pole sitter Kevin Lacroix, who will lead them on the start finish straightaway. The running order up front stays the same. Gary Clute 59 in 5th, Anthony Simoni 6th. So just as they started here on the grid is how they run on the racetrack. Lacroix will get a point for leading that opening lap.
We've called a lot of races here since 2007 when the NASCAR Pinty Series was born. I can't remember a first lap where the field didn't string out completely. They're still fairly tightly bunched. As I say that, Kevin Lacroix has opened some daylight along with Alex Tagliani on third place, Marc-Antoine Cameron. And the word from Dave Whitey, the crew chief on the 27, was they wanted to pick off cars early and be sure they were in a position to lead a lap, secure that bonus point, Pat.
And right now, Andrew Ranger is all over the 22 car of Marc-Antoine Cameron through 5B as Ranger takes that Mopar Dodge right up within a couple of car lengths. He got close in 5B, but Cameron got a great drive coming out of the Moss hairpin, and it'll be that same order up the Andretti straightaway. Running at the point, 74, Kevin Lacroix into the top of the S's. Alex Tagliani in the 18, Rona EpiPen Chevrolet in second. Those two drivers have opened up just a little bit of a gap here now on Cameron, 22, and then 27 Ranger. Fifth is still 59, Gary Clute.
One driver I think we want to keep an eye on today is the #1 Silverline Tools machine of Anthony Simoni. That blue car, he runs right behind another blue car of Gary Clute. That's a different race car. It looks the same as the car he's run earlier this year on road courses. That is his own race car. Whoa, is that a problem for Alex Tagliani? Something seems to be coming off the back end of the 18. We're having some little video issues, but it definitely looked like smoke off the right rear corner of that car. I'm going to keep an eye on that as it comes through here. And we've got one off the track. That is Ryan Clute in the 42.
That's over in the turn 1 area, so Clewd in that legendary motor car 42 is parked down in turn number 1.
Tagliani right up on the bumper of Kevin Lacroix on the 74. Marc-Antoine Cameron looks like he might be closing that distance to the leader and pulling away a little from Andrew Ranger. Ranger has had a couple of races that he'd like to forget. At Riviera, they had engine issues. They broke a valve during that race, and he did not get the kind of finish they were hoping for. And then at Riverside International Speedway in our most recent race, finished deeper in the top 10 than we would have expected, and we are under full course yellow. Full course yellow for the car of Ryan Clute that has come to rest in turn number 1. There is no way to safely continue. So we'll go under a full course caution, our first of the day here at CTMP for the NASCAR Pinty Series. There's no trail of fluid behind the 42. That's a good sign. Waiting for a report from the official with the team. He will just need a push, is the word from the team. You can see the car rocking a little bit, so I'm not sure if it might be a driveline problem, stuck in gear or won't go into gear. Push truck going to head out there and help Ryan Clute get back to the pit area to the attention of their team. He is not one of our points racers in the series, so they run a very select number of events. They raced on the streets of Toronto. They'll run the events here at CTMP. Always good to see the legendary motor car group show up at the races. Pat, can you believe the cars are still streaming in off the road? We look out from our vantage point as where people park in the infield. It is jammed out here. You guys have chosen a great day to come to the races.
Well, indeed, the weather's been spectacular all weekend long, and usually Sunday is considered big race day, and I think we've got a big crowd in here locally from the Durham region, but also from Toronto with the 407. It's got here in less than an hour this morning, coming in from the east end of Toronto. Part of the great turnout of fans all over this facility. Our good friends Jim and Sam, who are regulars here for the Chevrolet Silverado 250. They were here as early as Thursday, getting their favorite spot over there by the Turn 4 bridge. And I'm sure they're enjoying the weekend as we continue to run under full course yellow. The 42 car over there parked. Ryan Clute gets out of the race car, and I think it'll be a few minutes here before we're set to go back to green.
You know, we mentioned it yesterday, Pat, but I had the opportunity to jump in a golf cart and take a few of our guests from a couple different NASCAR offices in the United States, and we drove all over this facility. We drove down roads that I've never been down on the infield and discovered some hidden gems. People have some fantastic layouts around different parts of this racetrack. Everyone has a favorite place to watch the action from, and they were just blown away by the hospitality and the friendly and generous nature of the Canadian fans. So give yourselves a pat on the back. Your hospitality was greatly appreciated as we watch these cars come through our position. I was sure I saw smoke off the right rear quarter panel of the 18 machine, but there again, it just could have been a glitch in the video. But we look at these cars go by, barely a mark on any of them. They're all still in pretty good shape out here. They haven't got to using the bumpers just yet, but I expect there will come a time. We've got one car peeling into the pits. That's the Sunspace Victory Games number 21 of Larry Jackson. Jackson, the only driver electing to come down pit road. And I mentioned in pre-race, this is the only race all year where we have a scoring loop verification of when drivers speed on pit road. So it's all done with technology. It's very accurate. So these drivers are going to have to mind their manners when they come on and off pit road. Make sure they don't exceed pit road speed limit, because again, a penalty would be devastating. Caution laps are lengthy here at CTMP. It is a long way around this race course. Waiting for reports to come in from the pits on what might be the problem with the 42 of Clute. They believed he was just going to need a push. It's not looking that way at the moment, but we don't have eyes on that from our vantage point here on the outside of turn number 10. People set up on the hills there in chairs. Some of the other things we noticed, and I may be telling you fans things that you already know. I mean, we're locked away in our little booth up here when we're doing the talking, but I was blown away. We parked on the inside of turn number 2 and then on the outside of turn number 2 in two different spots, and the terrain looks completely different depending what side of the racetrack you're on. And a couple of the officials actually said, I can't wait to get home. I'm going to jump on iRacing and go and run CTMP because I want to see what it looks like from the driver's seat. Now that we've seen how much elevation change there is all around this racetrack, they want to go and experience the simulation of it as well. So Kevin Poitras in the 33 being reported that his window net has come down. They'll have to bring that 33 machine down pit road. Obviously, that's a great thing to find out under yellow rather than under green flag conditions. So we expect Kevin Poitras, when the field comes around, and right now they're coming down through turn number 8. I can see the green flag on pit road, so pit road is open. We expect to see Kevin Poitras make that hard right turn down pit lane. None of the leaders electing to come in. We expect it's a little bit early. Generally, what we see is drivers like to come in after about the 12, 13 lap mark of this race. They'll come in, take on fuel. That is plenty of time to take on fuel and still be able to make it to the end of the race. So Kevin Poitras actually giving up a decent position. He had advanced. He was about halfway through the field. And now coming down pit road to have that window net fixed. That's going to be a bummer for Poitras. The team immediately to work getting that window net put up, and then also double and triple checking it. And it looks like when they gave it a pull, it did come out. So I wonder if they'll take any extra measures, maybe a zip tie or some duct tape, just to make sure that that window net stays where it belongs. They're going to take the opportunity to fuel this 33 car as well while they're on pit road. So fuel going into that 33 machine of Poitras. Plenty of time to get the work done they need to get done. And then he'll head back out onto the racetrack and rejoin the field. Make sure, folks, you're getting plenty of water in you. It's a beautiful sunny day, a long day out here in the bright sunshine at CTMP. And if you were here in the spring, you'll know some of the yellows lasted a little bit longer than we would have liked them to. Rob Sharp, the race director, just saying we are going 1 to go in turn number 5. We want to get back to green as quickly as we can, so they're going to double up this field. We'll be ready to resume racing here in the Total Court 200. A big welcome to all the guests from Total and the hospitality suites. A number of people have shown up, and they were here yesterday as well. Quite often with the suites, they fill up on Sunday, but Saturday they can be a little bit sparse, but there was a lot of diehard fans here yesterday as well, enjoying the hospitality over there in the Total booth. So thanks for showing up here again on Sunday for race day. Lots of action still to come as the field starts to take shape.
And so the field working their way through Moss Corner, looking to go back to green here next time by.
It will still be Kevin Lacroix setting the pace coming to the green flag. Alex Tagliani will line up on the outside of the front row, and it'll be a battle down into turn 1 to get position. Turn 1, they can sort of run through side by side, but once you get to the exit of 1, they really need to get back to single file to get in and through turn 2. And you'll see that happen at the front of the field, and you'll see some brave racers deeper in the pack hang it out there and try to make up positions quickly. Keep an eye on the 36 of Alex Lebay. He had to start at the back of the field, some unapproved changes on that 36 machine. He had made a few passes leading up to this, and he expects to contend for a top 5 finish here today. He's still got a long way to go.
Well, this should be the completion of lap number 6 next time by as they form up into the top of the S's here at turn number 8. Exactly the first 3 rows anyways, exactly how they started on our original start on the grid before that full course yellow as a result of the problems with the Ryan Clute car. They roll in at turn number 10, coming on the start finish straightaway. The bumper to bumper number 74 of Kevin Lacroix down on the inside looking for the green as they come back here to the stripe, and we're back underway. And again, Lacroix will have that inside position. Tagliani will tuck in, and now Ranger in car number 27 is going to try to go in on the outside of Cameron. Can't get it done. So it's the same order as they restarted here. Lacroix 74, your leader, 18 Tagliani in second, 22 Cameron runs in third, Ranger is fourth, And then up into that 5th place position is the 59 of Gary Clute.
Deeper in the field, just like we suspected, they're still racing double file. Alex Lebay on the outside of turn number 3, battling with Donald Teague in that 24 machine as the leaders down through turn 4 into the Moss hairpin. It's Kevin Lacroix leading the way, but Alex Tagliani right up on the back bumper, that bumper-to-bumper number 74.
And we've got some other side-by-side battles going on, including the 3 of Jason Hathaway. Hathaway looking to move up inside of the top 10 after starting 14th on the grid here in that Kubota Chaco Chevrolet. And certainly another one of those drivers who knows his way around a road course. Kevin Lacroix continues to lead here out of turn 9 into 10. Andrew Ranger all over 22. Cameron, as they come on the start-finish straightaway, Ranger took a look on the inside as they went into turn number 1, trying to get around the Cameron car, but wasn't able to do it.
So Andrew Ranger, who was hoping to pick up some positions, and that seems silly to say because they're all hoping to pick up positions, but when someone like Andrew Ranger or his crew chief Dave White say, hey, we need to get to the front early, we need to be able to lead a lap, you take their word for it, they mean business. But what's happened in this series is there are so many teams and so many drivers that are up to the challenge. It is tough to make up any ground, and that lead pack is now almost, I'd say, 10 cars still in contention. Bit of a tip of the hat to Malcolm Strawn in that number 56 Jim Bray-owned entry. He's having a pretty good run out there, tailing some very quick race cars here in the early going of the Total Court 200. You watch the field snake down that Mario Andretti straightaway. Kevin Lacroix has opened up a few car lengths over Alex Tagliani back in the 2nd position. But these drivers really up on the wheel, keeping pace with that lead group. A few minutes ago, we saw Julia Landauer make a great pass on Chandler Smith in that 26. Smith is a little deeper in the field than we might have expected him after practicing in the top 5. Takes a look at the inside of Landauer going into turn 10. Landauer slams the door shut.
And again, that running order up front, pretty consistent now as they continue to run single file. Not a whole lot of positions being swapped around. 74 Lacroix down through turn 2, heading up into 3 ahead of Tagliani, who is in 2nd. Then the car off the racetrack, Mark Dilley. So Dilley off the racetrack over there in turn number 8. So Mark Dilley, who qualified back in 21st position, is going to drop further back as he got wide there going into the top of the S's.
We'll try to keep an eye on that 64 machine if he comes around and heads towards the pits, or if he's able to get back on track and resume his race. Mark Dilley having a bit of an off-track excursion. Kevin Lacroix knows what he needs to do to catch Andrew Ranger for this points battle. He was, at the most, I think he was about 21 points back, maybe not quite that many, maybe it was 18. He says, Adam, I know if I make up 3.5 points every race, I can contend for the championship. Here comes Alex Tagliani heading to pit road. This will be scheduled service for the Rona EpiPen number 18.
Got to move everybody up from 2nd on back.
So trouble in turn 10. Chandler Smith making contact with Julia Landauer in the 28. That's where she had closed the door on Chandler Smith last time. Oh, yellow flag called, might have been a little premature. Mark Dilley heading into pit road immediately closing. That could be a great break for Alex Tagliani, the only driver who had chosen to duck into the pits this early. And now the yellow flag comes out and nobody else can come into the pits for a little while yet as the smoke just pouring off the back end of Julia Landauer. Knowing Julia, that smoke could be coming from inside her helmet. She is a fiery competitor, and I don't think she'll like this at all.
Mark Dilley also on the pit road. Severe damage to the rear end of that race car of Julia Landauer, car number 28. Had started back in 18th position. And then the contact here in turn number 10. And then prior to that, Mark Dilley getting off the racetrack there in turn number 8. Dilley has come on to pit road.
trying to determine if the body has been shifted over on the Landauer 28 or if that rear end has been knocked askew. These cars can take a pretty solid beating and be able to carry on, but it depends where you hit them. She got into that tire wall fairly squarely on the back end of the car, but definitely some of that impact headed towards the right.
And right now, as we work lap number 10 under a full course yellow, 74, Kevin Lacroix, your race leader. 22, Marc-Antoine Cameron sits in second. 27, Andrew Ranger moves up to third. 59, Gary Clute in fourth. Anthony Simoni is fifth. The 47 of LP Dhumal out of Trois-Rivières, Quebec, in the sixth place position. And then behind him is the 04, and then DJ Kennington. So JF Dhumal in eighth, DJ Kennington ninth. That's exactly where he started on the racetrack. And so lap number 10 completed for the field. We work lap 11 next time by. It'll be 40 laps to go in the Total Quartz 200. And that damage to the right rear of the car of Julia Landauer is substantial as she limps her way around heading into the pit road area. Looks like any kind of cleanup that was required here in turn 10 has been done. So Julia Landauer brings the number 28 Dodge onto pit road.
So a flat right rear tire is a result of all the dragging body work, and you never know if there's bumper braces in there rubbing on the tire as well. So she'll bring this down to the attention of her crew, and they will immediately go to work. One rule in NASCAR: you must have a rear deck lid if you want to continue racing. There is some damage to that deck lid, but they should be able to secure that. You can see the crew going to work. They're going to jack up the right side of that car, and they will likely soon start peeling away pieces that they deem unnecessary for her to continue this race. One of the great things about the NASCAR Pinty series, they are fiberglass bodies that these cars run. Aerodynamics really don't play a part. The rear spoiler is more for decoration than anything else. So it's not going to affect the speed of the car as long as the four wheels are still pointed in the right direction. So as long as the alignment of the car is still in good shape, you can see them having jacked up the right side. They're going to have to start prying bars away and either taping or bungee cording panels down and securing them. The field is halfway around the racetrack, just going under the Canadian Tire Bridge, so they've actually got plenty of time to work on the race car. They can take their time, devise a plan on what might be able to get Julia Landauer back on track. Wouldn't surprise me one bit if we see her able to continue.
Next time by, it'll be 11 laps up on the board. We'll have 40 to go. The Chevrolet Camaro pace car stays out on the racetrack, but Adam, looks like we're going to have a large group of drivers all ducking onto pit road. Kevin Lacroix and 27 Andrew Ranger stay out on the racetrack, but we've got about a dozen cars electing to come onto pit road.
And Pat, the decision is, do you want to give up track position now to gain it later? So what Andrew Ranger has done, what Kevin Lacroix has done, is decided we know when we pit, we're going to have to pass some race cars because all of these cars that come into the pits now may not have to come back in again. But they want fresh tires for later on in the race. And from our vantage point, we can see the Chandler Smith 26 on pit road with the crew looking at the front end bodywork on that race car and deciding if there's enough damage that it requires them to work on it or not.
Well, he's been having an outstanding season in the NASCAR ARCA Menard Series with 4 poles, 4 wins. And, of course, I think has also had a couple of starts in the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series as they continue to work on the left front there of the race car. So something has been bent askew on that quick car as he heads back out onto the racetrack. I think they were looking to maybe qualify a little bit higher up on the grid than 11th, but he, I think, didn't get off to a great start and was working his way back up through the field when he got into contact here with Julia Landauer in turn number 10, bringing out our first full course caution of the morning as we work lap number 12. And I would think getting set to go back to green here very, very shortly.
Yeah, they've been given the 1 to go, the 20 of Raymond Gay being told he was speeding on pit road. So Raymond Gay going to line up at the tail end of the field. That Rhinox number 20, Raymond Gay, quite a gentleman out there. But he got a little bit too quick on pit road, and he'll pay the price now. Not a huge penalty. He was running near the tail end of the field. Lights are out on the pace car. We're going to go back to green. You see Kevin Lacroix scrubbing his tires. Andrew Ranger in the 27 starting alongside. Remember, it is vital for Ranger to lead a lap, so you're going to see him really charge this course to try to get around Kevin Lacroix, but Kevin Lacroix knows it, and Kevin Lacroix is one heck of a wheelman as well. So Don Thompson Jr., the crew chief on the Lacroix number 74, will be on the radio giving him instructions, keeping him informed of all the things he needs to think about on this restart lap, Pat.
67, Adam David Thorndike started 25th in that Thorson Chevrolet. Has come all the way up into 20th with some of the problems that have come up with some of the other team drivers. So the field forming up in through turn number 9. They will come, and once again, Lacroix in car number 74 will set the pace there from the pole position as they work off of turn number 10. This time he's got Andrew Ranger alongside of him as they come to the line, and the green flag is out. Ranger side by side as they work down into turn number 1, and again Ranger will tuck in. Lacroix has been brilliant on the starts, and Ranger had a notion to go in on the outside but elected to tuck back in, and he'll follow that number 74 bumper to bumper dodge out at 2. Here's Ranger. He'll try to pull up alongside into turn number 3, and they are going at it here for the lead through turn number 3. The 74 red and white bumper to bumper dodge up against Andrew Ranger in the blue and black and white Mopar Dodge down through turn 4, and they have cleared off several car lengths on the battle that's going on here for third. Into the hairpin. Ranger takes a look on the inside in 5B. Can't get around. So it'll be the pole sitter 74, Lacroix, Kevin Lacroix leading Andrew Ranger up the Andretti straightaway.
We felt it was going to be a wild restart because Andrew Ranger really wanted to lead a lap. The only trouble is Kevin Lacroix really wanted Andrew Ranger not to lead a lap. And boy, oh boy, did they ever battle. Lacroix with a great head of steam down the back straightaway. Great news, Julia Landauer back on the track. I believe she is just 1 lap down, but only about a couple hundred yards ahead of Kevin Lacroix on the 74 as he has opened some advantage between himself and Andrew Ranger.
DJ Kennington, who stayed out on the racetrack, up into third. Malcolm Strawn, 56 in fourth. Anthony Simoni rounds out your top 5 as we look at some of these other drivers coming up through the field. The 47 of LP Dhumal, I believe, has picked up a spot up into 6th.
TJ Rena Mato is getting a very high-speed education right now in that 0-2 machine. He got out of shape coming out of turn 10, and there was about 5 cars that jumped on the opportunity to make passes on that 0-2 machine. He is still under attack now from Jason Hathaway in the 3.
Off the racetrack there, almost sliding off, was that 82 car as he got into it up there in the right-hander, so a close fight going on there. Maybe we got the wrong number. It was the 0-2 of Renamato as the battle down into Moss Corner here. The 24 car of Donald Teege is working his way up around. Teege, I believe, was just outside of the top 10, but off the end of the Andretti straightaway, it continues to be our pole sitter Kevin Lacroix leading Andrew Ranger.
Lacroix leads the way. Julia Landauer She is turning some decent laps out there in the 28 machine because Lacroix has closed in quite a bit of the gap, but Julia Landauer is still up to speed. She would love to remain just one lap down to the field. I got to double check and see if she's one lap down or more. The 91 of JF Lebay heads to pit road. I can't see this being a scheduled pit stop for Lebay, and he's quite a ways behind the rest of the pack, so possibly a problem that time around for JF Lebay in the 91. As we watch Kevin Lacroix continuing to lead the way. Andrew Ranger just a short gap behind Lacroix in the lead, and the cars that recently pitted under that yellow starting to work their way through the field. Of course, Alex Tagliani, he actually made his stop during green just before that yellow flag came out, so Tagliani with great track position after getting serviced by Tyler Case and the rest of that Rona EpiPen crew.
They work up the Andretti straightaway. The shuffle going on. DJ Kennington now coming under pressure, but that battle going on for that third place position. It is the 56 of Malcolm Strawn getting around DJ Kennington. He is up into the third place spot, and Kennington comes on to pit road, followed by the 18 of Alex Tagliani, I believe has moved around into fourth as DJ Kennington has come out of pit road.
Looking back through the field, Donald T just gotten around TJ Rena Mato, so Rena Mato's drift towards the back. He'll be able to settle in and run some decent laps now, I believe. And DJ Kennington brings that Castrol Edge crew into Ted McAllister and the rest of that Castrol Edge team. The fuel can engaged on the 17, and he pulls back out. So obviously DJ Kennington not feeling that yellow well, he stayed on the racetrack. Not a lot of fuel going into that car, surprisingly, but I guess they've only run a certain number of laps, but he must feel he can make it to the end as Andrew Ranger has closed the gap once again on Kevin Lacroix in the 74 as they race through the Moss hairpin.
Andrew Ranger gathering it back up. He had dropped a good 6 car lengths back. As they work up the Andretti straightaway, they're going to be approaching a slower car about to go a lap down, but halfway up that Andretti straightaway, Lacroix looks as though he pulls away just a little bit into turn 8, and it's about 4 car lengths separating the race leader, Kevin Lacroix, 74, and Andrew Ranger in car number 27 as they come up here to complete. Lap number 16 goes up on the board, and now the 18 of Alex Tagliani is all over Malcolm Strawn in the Chevrolet, so a couple of Chevrolets battling for third and fourth.
Julia Landauer only about 50, 60 meters ahead of the race leaders now, and much less than that. And she kind of missed the mark in turn 2, and she either saw the leaders coming and got out of the way or looked up in her mirror and kind of missed the mark going into turn 2. But the polite thing to do, Julia Landauer gives way, gives them plenty of room to make their move.
Couple of car lengths separating the race leader, 74, Kevin Lacroix, as Andrew Ranger in the Mopar Dodge continues to chase down through turn 4, up into Moss Corner. And then we've got the gap back to the battle that's been going on for third and fourth, as Tagliani was all over Strawn for that fourth place position, and they're just a car length apart as they come up out of turn 5C, and they are closing on Julia Landauer as well here on the straightaway. Into turn number 8, 74 Lacroix, your race leader, the 27 of Andrew Ranger. Next time by, it'll be 17 of 51 laps completed.
Now it's a cat and mouse game as Alex Tagliani swings to the outside on the exit of turn number 9, in through turn number 10, and Malcolm Strawn says, not so fast, I'm gonna race you from the outside. So Strawn trying to maintain that position. We are seeing a lot of moves being made here in turn 9 and 10. Tagliani still on the inside of Strawn. Give Tagliani that third position.
Alex Tagliani was the first of the drivers to come on to pit road, and now he has run up into that third place position, getting around the 56 of Strawn. And then Anthony Simoni, here's Simoni taking a look on the inside, trying to get around Strawn. So Simoni is all over the 56 for that fourth place position, and he may be one of the fastest cars here on the racetrack. 22 Marc-Antoine Cameron was running up in 6:47. LP Dhumal in the 7th place position. And then behind him, I think it was the 33 of Kevin Poitras, who had moved up into 8th.
Full course caution. We have a full course caution on the racetrack. Debris in turn 3. So the field slows.
And this will be a big help to Tagliani. There we see up on the video monitor part of the bodywork on one of the race cars sitting on the racetrack. So they've gone to the full course yellow as they'll get that picked up. And so this should be a very short one. That's right down on the inside on the exit out of turn 3.
Yeah, Rob Sharp, the race director here this weekend, doing a much better job. It was a steep learning curve for Sharpie to come in here. This series has only ever had one race director up until 2019, and we've had a few different gentlemen come in to call the shots, a couple from NASCAR in the States, but Rob Sharp, the rookie race director, has been, well, just like his name, pretty sharp here this weekend, doing a nice job making the calls. And that yellow had to come out. That is right in the groove in turn number 3, a big piece of debris. And the field will join up behind the pace car. And we'll see. It's been a game of cat and mouse with Andrew Ranger and Kevin Lacroix. Ranger wants to lead a lap. He wants to get that bonus point. At some point, they have to come into the pits. They have to take on fuel if they want to make it to the end of this race. So how long will they wait? If you're Kevin Lacroix and crew chief Don Thompson Jr., I don't think you can come into the pits and let the 27 lead a lap. I think you have to wait it out as long as you can.
And so the field winding its way through turn number 3. And as we run here with a total of 18 laps completed, working lap 19 on the racetrack, your leader, 74, Kevin Lacroix, 27, Andrew Ranger, the current championship points leader in the NASCAR Pinty Series, sitting in 2nd. 3rd is Alex Tagliani in the number 18, Rona EpiPen St. Hubert Spectrum Premium Chevrolet. And then 4th, the 56 of Malcolm Strawn. He's done a great job. Ran up as high as 3rd earlier. Tagliani got around to put him to 4th, but Strawn qualified on the outside of row 6 in the 12th starting position. He's currently sitting there in 4th, one of our rookie drivers here in the field. Then Anthony Simoni in car number 1, that blue and white Silverline Tools CBRT Dodge. And then back in 6th is 22, Marc-Antoine Cameron. In 7th, 47, LP Dhumal. 8th is 59, Gary Clute. 9th is the 04 of JF Dhumal. And then rounding out the top 10 is that 34 car, as we have got that piece of debris being picked up now in turn number 3. So it'll be maybe another lap here, Adam, and we'll be set to go back to green. 36, pardon me, car number 36 up there in the 10th place position. And that is Alex Lebay out of Victoriaville, Quebec in the Ford. So the field makes their way here on start-finish. Lights are still on that Chevrolet Camaro pace car, but I think the next time around, it'll be heading for pit road.
They have not opened pit road just yet. The red flag's still waving at the entry of pit road because they've got a few positions on the track they have to get sorted out. So if they stick to NASCAR protocol, they can't go back to green until they open pit road. And the word just comes over from the race director that pit road will be open next time by. So I believe there'll be at least one more lap. So a good opportunity to head to the cooler, grab yourself a frosty beverage.
Looking at DJ Kennington, Adam, he is being shown in 20th position after rolling off here in 9th. And DJ was one of the drivers who came onto pit road, and looks like we've got more activity there with the 26 car of Chandler Smith. Looks like he will go to fresh General Tire rubber all around in that 26 car. Of course, involved in the incident here in turn number 10 with Julia Landauer that brought out one of our earlier full course yellows.
And of course, Julia Landauer in position to get the free pass. She is a few laps down, so how unfortunate for the driver of the number 28. They're going to hold the 26 of Chandler Smith for pulling into the wrong pit box for service. So the 26 of Smith is going to be held, I believe, for a 1-lap penalty on pit road as they continue to work on that 26 machine.
Well, Chandler Smith making his debut in the NASCAR Pinty Series. It's been a bit of a tough ride so far. Qualified that car 11th. Involved with the incident here in turn 10 with Julia Landauer, and now pulling into the wrong pit box, and he's going to get a 1-lap penalty as a result of that as we continue to run under a full course yellow. Lap number 19 completed. Next time by it'll be 20, and we'll be looking at 31 laps. So the checkered flag, your race leader, is 74. The pole sitter, Kevin Lacroix, he has not relinquished that lead. 27, Andrew Ranger in the Mopar Dodge, sitting in second. Third now is the 56, so the revert back. The 56 car of Malcolm Strawn now getting the 3rd position on the rundown. Then Alex Tagliani, then Anthony Simoni, the 22 of Marc-Antoine Cameron behind him in the 6th place spot. 7th is 47, LP Dhumal. In 8th, as they roll by us here, is the 59 of Gary Clute.
Well, and a big change in the running order. Kevin Lacroix to pit road, Alex Tagliani, Anthony Simoni, Marc-Antoine Cameron, the 47 of LP Dhumal, and the 33 of Kevin Poitras, the 02 of TJ Rena, Mato, Jocelyn, Fecteau streaming onto pit road, as well as Larry Jackson in the 21 and DJ Kennington in the 17. The driver staying on the track, and I believe the only driver not to come to pit road yet, Andrew Ranger in that Mopar 27, getting that bonus point for leading a lap, but at what cost?
So we continue under the full course yellow. Alex Tagliani onto pit road. This is his 2nd stop. And again, he will roll off here in that Chevrolet. And this, of course, will considerably shuffle the running order that we gave you a little bit earlier. We have completed 20 laps as we work lap number 21, looking to see. Right now, they're showing the first 20 cars all still running on the lead lap here this morning at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. If you've joined us late, Adam Ross, Pat Gonzalez in the tower. You can pick up our public address broadcast 90.7 on your FM dial as we welcome all of those race fans tuning in to the live stream of this event. And of course, we've got a big one still to come here today at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. The Chevrolet Silverado 250 set to roll off just after 2:30 this afternoon.
We're coming to 1 to go on the back straightaway. I believe I just heard the 47 of LP Dhumal getting a end of the longest line penalty for pitting outside of their box. And folks, we really appreciate your help around the racetrack. So if you're on Twitter, add Adam Ross 101, Adam Ross 101. Got some great reports yesterday, things that we're not able to see. So if something happens around you and you think it's worth mentioning, feel free to snap a picture, send a message on Twitter, Adam Ross 101. So we're getting confirmation of the penalty. 47 of LP Dhumal to the end of the longest line for pitting outside of the box. So, Andrew Ranger in the 27, along with his spotter, Joe Chisholm Jr., their crew chief, David White, stayed on the racetrack. They wanted that bonus point for leading a lap, but now they still need to make a pit stop where other cars out there don't need to. So we'll look at Kevin Lacroix in the 74, where he's running on the field. We can assume, we can speculate that's where Andrew Ranger would have restarted as well. So they have really affected this race for 1 championship point Pat, I'm not sure if that's worth the expense of being off strategy from the rest of the entire field.
Well, different teams have different race strategies in terms of when they are going to come onto pit road to service these race cars. Right now, the Chevrolet Camaro safety car on pit road. Ranger will bring the field off of turn 10, looking for the green flag, and there it is. Andrew Ranger will lead them down into turn number 1. It is the 56 of Strawn trying to grab that second place spot, but sliding through with 59, Gary Clewd. A nice move there by Gary Clewd as he goes to second, and Clewd is all over Ranger at the top of turn 2. And now another driver taking a run there at Strawn in the 56 as they'll go side by side here for third. And into that corner, it is the Ford of 36. So the 36 of Alex Lebay has moved around into the third place spot.
Alex Lemay making a bold move on the outside of turn 2 up into third. JF Dhumal in the 0-4 to fourth. So a couple of drivers on the move.
Strawn there pushed from second all the way into fifth as they run through the turn 5 area and head up the Andretti straightaway.
Kevin Lacroix on the 74 coming back onto the racetrack. As they came to green flag, Lacroix peeled off into the pit. For the amount of time he spent in there, I'm going to guess they put 4 fresh General tires. We'll have a look at the 74 when he comes by our position, and we should be able to tell if those are fresh tires. But at the front, Gary Clute in the 59, all over the back end of Andrew Ranger's number 27. Clute in the Thermal Technology Services Merca-sponsored Dodge.
And again, that order moving up here, Jason Hathaway in car number 3. Hathaway has made a great drive up, currently being shown in the 6th place position after starting down in 14. So that's a great run for the Stouffville, Ontario driver. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead up in turn 2, 27 Ranger in the Mopar Dodge has got 59, Gary Clute all over him.
LP Dhumal in the WeatherTech number 47 heading to the pits for what will be a 1-lap penalty for pitting outside of his box. He will be held for a lap. It looks like they're going to tighten up lug nuts on the right front as Dhumal parked on pit road with a NASCAR official standing directly in front of the 47 machine. He will await instructions on when he can be released, which I believe is as soon as the leader crosses the start-finish stripe.
Well, this will not be good for his championship aspirations. Came into the race sitting third, 17 points back of Andrew Ranger, as Ranger continues to run up in front, but again, he is yet to pit. And under that Canadian Tire walkover bridge, Gary Clute again taking a look on the inside. He's got a very strong race car, and he continues to pour the pressure on Andrew Ranger. 27 on the start-finish straightaway. Then it's that 36 of Labe running in the third place spot.
So the 47 of LP Dhumal has just been released from pit road. He has 1 lap down to the field. We'll see where he can get on the track and blend in.
And this is what you were talking about, Adam, with 25 cars starting this race. If you don't have a great result, you're not going to be just outside of the top 10. You're going to be outside of the top 20, and that has a major impact on your championship points.
You're absolutely right. As we watch Andrew Ranger, the points leader, leading the way, Gary Clute applying the pressure in that 59 machine as they race down through turn number 4 into 5. Remember, Clute got a better run down into turn 8 last time. Does he try to follow Ranger in through 5, or does he try to make a move and just outpower him down the straightaway?
Looks like Gary Clute got a pretty good drive coming out of 5B, and he'll follow that Mopar Dodge up the Andretti straightaway. These two drivers pretty equally matched in terms of horsepower and top-end speed. Gary Clute at the top of the straightaway takes a look on the inside. Nothing there. Wasn't close enough to make a passing attempt going into the S's.
Here goes Andrew Ranger onto pit road at the exit of turn number 9. He'll head down to David White and the rest of that Mopar crew. Further back, Alex Tagliani tries to dive inside. Simon Vienne in the 37 into turn 10. He had to back out, did not have position. But here comes Ranger's Mopar, number 27, down pit road. The comparison we will want to make is where is Ranger on the racetrack compared to the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. Once their service is finished, once they are on equal terms once again, how much did he give up of time on the racetrack for the sake of that bonus point? As Ranger takes the fuel, they fill up that 27, he will rejoin the field. Kevin Lacroix coming through turn number 10, so they will meet fairly close on the exit of turn 1, but remember Kevin Lacroix with fresh tires, Andrew Ranger does not, as Tagliani to the inside off of turn number 4. Well, sweeps to the outside of the exit of 4, which puts him on the inside of turn 5, but Simoni battles on the outside of 5. That is a bold move by Simoni, not to lay over and give up that position, but he's fighting with Tagliani for that spot.
And that is the race for 6th up the Andretti straightaway. It is Tagliani in car number 18. Looks like he had inched ahead, and he does take over that 6th place position in car number 18. So Alex Tagliani continues to climb up through the field as they work on the start-finish straightaway. Your race leader is the number 59 of Gary Clute. Lap number 24 goes up, 25 goes up on the board for Gary Clute. 25 laps into the 51-lap run. We're coming up on the halfway point. The 36 of Alex Labe runs in second. Then it is 04 JF Dhumal, the Riviera Quebec driver, in third. Fourth across the line is 56 Strawn, and then rounding out the top 5, the 3 of Jason Hathaway, the Kubota Chaco Chevrolet, started 14th and right now running in 5th.
So Andrew Ranger about a full front straightaway ahead of Kevin Lacroix right now on the racetrack. Again, he still has to come in and take on tires. We'll see when he decides to do that, as we see Alex Tagliani right up on the rear bumper of the Kubota number 3 of Jason Hathaway in that battle for what should be the 5th position down the Mario Andretti straightaway.
Couple of Chevrolets duking it out up the Andretti straightaway for that 5th place position. For the moment, Hathaway able to hold off Tagliani in car number 18, but now as they run it into the top of the S's, it is that 18 car of Tagliani right on the rear bumper of Hathaway. Gary Clute, 59, your leader, just ahead of a new 2nd place runner. The 04 of JF Dhumal has moved to 2nd. Alex Labe down to 3rd.
Jean-Francois Dumoulin up to 2nd. He had a career best NASCAR finish of 3rd at the Grand Prix of Riviera a few weeks ago. So he's looking to repeat that success as TJ Rena Mato gets way out of shape at the exit of turn 9 as Tagliani to the inside of Hathaway down through 2.
New 5th place runner Alex Tagliani continues to march to the front. He's up into that 5th place position. Hathaway in the Kubota Chevrolet will drop down into 6th, but those cars are all running close together. 2nd on back through 6th. Everybody chasing down the race leader, 59, Gary Clute, who started 5th and right now runs at the point as that front running group swings out of Moss Corner and begins the run up the Andretti straightaway.
Unofficially, for those of you who are interested, Julia Landauer is 1 lap down right now. So is LP Dhumal, and David Thorndike 2 laps down from the looks of it. JF Leberge is 3 laps down. Chandler Smith is 4 laps down. So those are the drivers who are 1 or more laps down to the field. Right now, the last car on the lead lap is Kevin Lacroix in the 18th position as Gary Clute out in front by about 20 car lengths over JF Dhumal in the 04. Malcolm Strawn has gotten around. Alex Lebay lost a few spots that lap. Strawn got around. Looks like Alex Tagliani got around as well. So the Hotel La Concorde number 36 of Alex Lebay drifting in the wrong direction through the field.
DJ Kennington working his way back up into that 10th place position as he tries to run down Anthony Simoni in car number 1, who is sitting there in 9th. Gary Clute up front now. The battle here shaping up as Tagliani is all over that 56 car of Malcolm Strawn. This will be the race now for that 4th place position as they work under the bridge through turn 4 and into Moss. Tagliani on the inside of Strawn in a Moss corner, and he is going to pick up the position. So Alex Tagliani in that Rona Saint Hubert EpiPen Chevrolet continues to march to the front. They work up the Andretti straightaway, and that was a nice clean run down through turn number 5. Strawn did a good job of avoiding any contact between the two cars.
Yeah, I think Strawn realized that was not a winning battle there. Let Tagliani go. And he fell back one position, but he's still in good shape as we've got Gary Clute locking up the brakes as he heads to pit road.
Race leader Gary Clute comes onto pit road. This is going to shuffle the deck in terms of the running order, and it is going to move the 04 of Jean-Francois Dhumal in that Dodge up into the lead. Everybody behind him moves up. Here is Clute on pit road. They go to work. Fresh General Tire rubber going on that 59 car of Gary Clute, the Halton Hills, Ontario driver in the Merca Thermal Technology Services Dodge.
Alex Tagliani is now closed in on JF Dumoulin in the 04 Spectra Premium machine. Both of those drivers supported by Spectra Premium, in fact, as they battle off of turn 2. Rather into, now off of turn 4, sorry.
Up in Amos corner, Tagliani has been very quick here through the double right-hander there at the bottom of the racetrack. There's Gary Clute is back away off of pit road, but Tagliani trying to reel in Jean-Francois Dhumal as they head up the Andretti straightaway, the 04 of Dhumal. That is a Dodge, and Tagliani in the Chevrolet, car number 18, is right there. It's down to just a couple of car lengths into the top of the S's.
At Riviera a couple of weeks ago, JF Dumoulin was amazing under braking, and here he peels down into the pit. So Alex Tagliani was trying to set him up for over a lap to make a pass. Doesn't have to worry about that as JF Dumoulin heads into the pits to the attention of his crew.
New leader Alex Tagliani has worked his way up into the lead. Malcolm Strawn, 56, second. Third is the 22 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. Behind him in fourth is Jason Hathaway. Anthony Simoni in car number 1 is fifth. 37 in the 6th place position is Simon Dion Vienne, as he is having a solid run here in 7th. And then behind him in 8th is DJ Kennington in car number 17. So DJ has come back after running as far back as about 20th at one point.
They're having a lot of problems on that pit stop for JF Dumoulin. Big delay on the left front. It looks like he pitted a little too close to pit wall as they were having trouble jacking up the right front of that car. So JF Dumoulin losing a lot of ground. He is going to have to hope for a caution between now and the end of the race to gain that track position back that they are losing on pit road.
Great battle here for 4th and 5th, involving the 3 of Jason Hathaway and that number 1 of Anthony Simoni. And Simoni will make the pass going into turn number 8. So Anthony Simoni around Jason Hathaway in a great fight here for 4th and 5th. On the start-finish straightaway, DJ Kennington all over the 37 car here of Simon Dion Vienne in that Ford. DJ Kennington in the Dodge is about to try to pick up yet another position.
Report from the pits, Alex Lebay in the 36 out with a broken engine as TJ Mato again gets out of shape coming off of turn number 9. That turn has given Mato fits today in that 02 machine. Now we look at DJ Kennington putting the pressure on Simon Dion Vienne in that 37. So the 37 out ahead of that Castrol Edge 17 of DJ Kennington. Kennington trying to get around and work his way to the front.
And they're fighting for 6th and 7th on the racetrack. DJ currently in the 7th place position as there's just a car length separating those two drivers, the 37 of Simon Dion Vienne and DJ Kennington in the Castrol Edge Dodge as they rocket up the Andretti straightaway. The lap completed right at the moment is 30 laps. So next time by, we'll have just 20 to go in the Total Ports 200. And right now it's that 18 of Alex Tagliani running at the front.
Not getting away from Malcolm Strawn in that 56. Strawn giving that Jim Bray-owned machine a pretty good run out there, running in the 2nd position. And DJ Kennington Coming across the start-finish line, still not able to get around Simone Dion-Vienne as they continue to battle for position. Dion-Vienne having a great run today in a new paint scheme for that number 37. Russo Metals, the sponsor on that car, and he's giving him a good run, running in the 6th position.
Solid run for him after starting back in 15th. We've seen a number of drivers do that, including Jason Hathaway, who was 14th on the grid and has worked his way up inside of the top 10. Lap number 51 is the distance. We've completed 31, so 20 to go. Alex Tagliani, car number 18, continues to lead it here this morning at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. 56, Malcolm Strawn in second. 22, Marc-Antoine Cameron is third. The one of Anthony Simoni is fourth. Jason Hathaway in car number 3 runs fifth, and 37, that is Simone Dion-Vienne in the 6th place spot. DJ Kennington 7th, and then behind him Poitras runs in 8th. 9th at the moment is the 24 car, and that is a good run up there for, we picked up the wrong number there. Then it is the 27 of Andrew Ranger, who has just made his way into the 10th place position. So that was Donald Teach, who is just ahead of Ranger on the racetrack, and Andrew Ranger is starting to reel him in. But Adam, this is a great fight involving Jason Hathaway 3. DJ Kennington is part of that battle, along with 37, Simone Dion-Vienne. Those 3 cars in a turn number 3. Fighting it out here for 5th, 6th, 7th is a dandy 3-way battle.
Dion-Vienne took a wide entry into turn 3. I thought that was going to be a mistake as Kennington was closing in, but he got a great run on Hathaway in the 3 as they worked down through 4, down into the Moss hairpin. Dion-Vienne again with a little bit wider entry, trying to get the arc to come off the corner and get a good run down the long straightaway. Maybe make a move in turn number 8, or just get close enough that he can make a move elsewhere on the track the next lap. But that is a great 3-car battle with Jason Hathaway, our most recent winner on the series. He won down at Riverside International Speedway. He is ahead of Dion-Vienne in the 37 and the 17 of Kennington.
Andrew Ranger, the Mopar Dodge, being shown in 12th. The pole sitter and leader for much of the first part of this race, Kevin Lacroix, up into 14th. So we still got a long way to go. And of course, both of those drivers hoping for a caution flag somewhere in the next 15 laps or so. That battle continues for 5th down into turn number 1. The 3 of Hathaway holding off the 37 of Simone Dion-Vienne and the 17 of DJ Kennington.
Marc-Antoine Cameron of that GM Paillet number 22 closing in on the 56 R Club entry of Malcolm Strawn. Runs a much more efficient line through turn 3, a much tighter line, trying to get speed on the entry as they work down through 4. They'll go down the hill in 4, up the hill into the Moss hairpin, and Cameron able to close in, but not able to get in position to make a pass.
And he's to within a car length. Strawn got a little bit wide, coming off a turn number 5B, and this might be all that Cameron needs.
Full course caution for debris in turn number 1. The plot thickens.
Well, indeed, that was exactly what the likes of Andrew Ranger and Kevin Lacroix were looking for. So full course yellow one more time here in the Total Quartz 200. As we wind it down, there's your race leader, Alex Tagliani, followed by Malcolm Strawn and then Marc-Antoine Cameron, the 1 car of Anthony Simoni, and then that scrap that had been going on here for 5th involving Jason Hathaway, Simone Dion-Vienne, and DJ Kennington. So race leader Alex Tagliani, picked up by the Chevrolet Camaro pace and safety car as the field winds its way under the bridge there up in turn number 2. So it looks by the time they get that situation squared away in turn number 1 and clean up the debris, we're going to be probably looking at about a 12 to 14 lap shootout here to the checkered flag. And right now it is Alex Tagliani, who has had a couple of good runs here, last couple of rounds, to sort of work his way back into the overall championship. And the drivers who were ahead of him, Andrew Ranger currently being shown 12th, and the 74 of our pole sitter, Kevin Lacroix, back there in 14th. So a shuffle in the overall point standings is likely at the end of the proceedings here today.
So the 47 of LP Dhumal going to get the free pass here. He gets released when they go 1 to go on the back straightaway, so he will not be able to catch the field, in theory, before they come to the restart. But he will be back on the lead lap. That would put Julia Landauer in position for the next free pass. So LP Dhumal really needs another yellow to get back into contention here. He's going to get 1 lap back, but he needs to get back in a position where he can make moves on the racetrack and try to gain points on points leader Andrew Ranger and Kevin Lacroix, second place in the points, ahead of LP Dhumal.
Well, let's update where Andrew Ranger and Kevin Lacroix are running. So just before we went to that full course yellow, they had moved up from where they were running earlier in 12th and 14th. So DJ Kennington is now being shown 7th, but Andrew Ranger in the 27th is up to 10th, and then the 74 of Lacroix 11th. So they'll be starting back there in rows 5 and 6 respectively, and an opportunity here now to move up through the field as we go to that restart here, I would think within a couple of laps.
Yeah, should not be a long break as they try to get the field sorted out, the running order sorted out.
And we are going to see some drivers come onto pit road. And there is Tagliani going through. Looks like Hathaway might be one of the drivers. Yes, Hathaway has come onto pit road, as does Andrew Ranger.
Yeah, and I would expect Ranger is in to take on his fuels. Another driver happy for this yellow will be JF Dumoulin in the 04 after a really slow stop. He'll be able to rejoin the field. And great reports. I had talked about smoke early on from Tagliani, and this could be absolutely right. It could have been fuel overflow coming out the Tagliani machine, because here they run the fuel intake on the right side of the race car because the way pit road is. So that would make sense. Going around a left-hand turn, that probably wasn't smoke. That was probably fuel pouring out the overflow.
So activity here on pit road. Ranger looks like they're going to put 4 fresh General tires on that Mopar Dodge as the work goes on pit road. Here's Jason Hathaway. A great run for him here today after qualifying back in 14. Has run up inside of the top 5. And so this should be a absolute shootout to the checkered flag as these drivers get in their final pit stops. And there is the 77. Looks like having a problem at the right rear of that 77 car of Jocelyn Fecteau, the Montreal, Quebec driver in the Dodge.
Yeah, it looks as though the lug nuts might not have been secured on that wheel when they tried to make a tire change. They're trying to get it on over the hub. They're having all sorts of trouble. And they're going 1 to go in turn number 5. So these guys are going to have to hustle it up and get back and try to catch up to the field. So now they pull the wheel back off of the Fecteau machine. It looks as though one of the studs, I don't know much sign language, but it looks like the jackman just gave a signal that one of the studs backed out of the hub on that 77 machine, so they'll try to get that rectified. Here goes LP Dhumal around the pace vehicle as we are 1 to go. He gets released just under the Mobile 1 sign on the back straightaway.
So he's going to hustle around here as much as he can, and he now moves back onto the lead lap, but the car's forming up. The lights are off on the Chevrolet Camaro safety car as we're about to go back to green here. So it'll be lap 36 completed. It'll be 15 to go next time by as the 18 of Alex Tagliani is going to be lining up alongside of Marc-Antoine Cameron. Anthony Simoni in car number 1 is going to be on the inside of the second row, 37. Simone Dion Vienne will be outside row 2. He will start 4th. And then it'll be DJ Kennington in the 17 Castrol Edge Dodge, who will roll off of the 5th starting position. Safety car back onto pit road. Here comes the field. Tagliani will bring him off at turn number 10. Cameron in the 22 alongside, looking to the flagger stand, looking for that green flag, and there it is.
Oh, wreck! Big wreck on the front straightaway. TJ Rena Mato hard into the inside wall. Cat and mouse. We're watching people monkey around on these restarts. You could see drivers hanging back trying to guess. Jason Hathaway fanned out 3 wide, about 100 meters before the start-finish line. And whatever happened to TJ Rena Mato, big damage to Larry Jackson as well in that Sunspace number 21. So Rena Mato, Jackson, they are torn up on the front stretch. Simone Dion Vienne in the 37. He is just limping around the racetrack right now.
So that was at the tail end of the field. So we go back to the full course yellow as they attend to the situation here on the start-finish straightaway. That car of Rena Mato took a hard hit into the wall.
Big break for LP Dhumal, and he's going to close in on the field. And what I wanted to say coming to that restart is Kevin Lacroix was restarting 8th. Andrew Ranger was restarting 14th. So for 1 point in the championship standings, Ranger and his team risked 6 spots on the racetrack. I want to see those cars come back past, because I don't know if Andrew Ranger got through that cleanly or not, but this could be a catastrophe for our points competitors who are restarting deep in the field. So we look at that replay. Man, I'd love to get that one more time deep in the field. It looked like one car came up to speed, another one didn't. Oh, was that Gary Clute that got into that as well? Clute in the 59.
So like at least 3, maybe 4, and minor damage on a 5th car there. And then the 37 contacting the wall. That's going up into turn number 2.
Dion Vienne and Andrew Ranger narrowly missed those incidents. So we're looking again. Dion Vienne in the 37 goes by Kevin Lacroix. That car looks clean on the left side. Andrew Ranger, that car looks clean on the left side as well. Pat, that wreck was the fault of when the race director comes on and says the field needs to be bunched up tightly. This is why. When there's gaps, when people try to anticipate the start, you take off and then you have to slam on the brakes. And it's almost always the drivers from the middle of the pack on back who pay the price. And in this case, it was Gary Clute. It was Larry Jackson. I mean, Clute hammered the wall. That car's still running on the racetrack. Hopefully John Fletcher, the crew chief on it, and the crew can make repairs, get the front end alignment sorted out. Larry Jackson is driven away.
And there is severe damage to the right front of that car. I think it's back in about row 6, and contact there into the wall. And there you see the Larry Jackson car took a hard hit, as the right front quarter panel just about gone on that 21 car of Larry Jackson as he brings it onto pit road. I think they may try to get him back out there, but he may have knocked something askew on that 21 car.
One of the nicest guys in the pit area as we see heavy damage to the front end. Well, not heavy damage, that's cosmetic to the front end of Raymond Gay's Rhinox number 20 machine. So this should be a break. Depending how they score this, I don't know if they give a free pass under a yellow this early on a restart, because I believe it would be Julia Landauer who would benefit from this, but we'll wait to hear that official report from the race directors. LP Dhumal scrubbing the heck out of the tires on that 47. What a huge opportunity for him after that pit road penalty. Now he'll be able to restart with the pack. But this is one of those situations where spotters, you know you want to get an advantage, and sometimes to do that, because in these late race restarts, you'll have cars through strategy that are further ahead than really what their speed would indicate. So cars are up at the front that are a little bit slower than the faster cars coming through. So the faster cars know they don't want to be right up on the back bumper of the car in front of them coming to the restart because they may be faster. But when you create those gaps, you create a huge closing rate, and it can be a big, big problem. As we saw here, TJ Rena Mato's number 024 going to be hauled off from the front end back to the pits.
And so they'll get that car out of there, check over the racetrack. So I think we're looking at least a couple of more laps before they're set to let them go back green. And right now we work lap number 38. So probably looking at something in the vicinity of about 10 laps once we go back to green. Right now as they run under the full course yellow, your race leader. And now we're seeing some tire smoke from the 27 car of Andrew Ranger.
So he did get a piece of that. Sorry, Pat, to interrupt, but that's the risk you run.
And the right front, but Ranger stays out on the racetrack, but pardon me, the right rear is down on that 27 car.
I'm a little perplexed as to why Ranger would have stayed on the racetrack there, but he'll have to make another lap. And you can see there's not much to that right rear, and even at this slow speed, that is going to shred the right rear quarter panel. The bodywork is probably going to come apart on this race car.
Well, this could have major championship picture ramifications. Andrew Ranger coming in to the race here this morning with 11 points up on our pole sitter Kevin Lacroix and 17 clear of LP Dhumal. And Ranger, who did lead a lap, picked up the one championship point. And right now he is making his way down through turn number 2. But undoubtedly next time by, he's going to have to come onto pit road. But again, not sure why he did not duck onto pit road the last time they rolled off at turn 9.
Well, pit road is closed, so it would be a tail end of the longest line penalty. But even still, you've got a flat tire on these cars can just do so much damage. And you don't worry as much. It may not slow the car down, that damage, but he could run the risk if it tears the body apart. Quite often, if NASCAR feels that your body is not secure on the race car, they'll call you in to serve a penalty. So I see now, I thought pit road was open. It was closed, so that explains. But a calculated gamble by David White and Joe Chisholm Jr., crew chief and spotter on the 27 for Andrew Ranger. So far so good. He's into turn 5 with the bodywork still intact on that Mopar number 27.
So Ranger limps off of turn number 5B, begins the climb up the Andretti straightaway. We'll see whether or not he does in fact roll on to pit road here next time by as we continue to run under the full course yellow. The lights are still on the Chevrolet pace car. And I would think it's probably going to be at least another 2, maybe 3 laps before we're set to roll back out here to green. And as the laps wind down, we're on lap number 39. So 39 completed. It'll be 12 to go next time by.
So you could see great camera work by the camera crew, but there was actually pieces dragging on the right rear corner of Andrew Ranger's car. So there again, you drive 4 or 5 miles around the racetrack dragging suspension components. That can cause real problems as well. So Andrew Ranger in the 27 doing a nice job of controlling that race car around the track with a flat right rear tire. We'll see him peel off into the pits here. Well, they still have an open pit road, so do you take another lap or do you come in?
Well, looks like he is going to take another lap. He does. Ranger stays out on the racetrack as pit road was not open, and he continues to limp that car around. Certainly not going to help in terms of damage to the right rear of the car, but Ranger stays out. We'll check to see whether in fact they have now opened pit road down there.
So what they're doing, they're still sorting out the running order. The 37 of Simone Dionvien is one of the issues because even though he wasn't part of the yellow, under NASCAR rule, if you have a problem under caution, so even though the caution was already out when he spun out, you don't get your spot back. You're scored where you blend back into the line, so they've got to get the 37 back where he needs to be before they will open pit road. But really the penalty right now is to Andrew Ranger because they're having to drive around on that flat tire and potentially cause damage to the race car because pit road isn't opened 3 times as he's gone by. Well, this will be the 3rd time passed.
And he is being scored 13th at the moment. The Mopar Dodge making its way here through turn number 3. So he still has about a half a lap to go, assuming that the pit road is going to be open and he can duck under there. But Adam, definitely the right suspension bits dragging on the racetrack as the field makes its way back into Moss Corner.
Pit road will be open this time by. That's the word on the radio. Amy Wong is our official down there between turns 9 and 10. So now she's put up the green flag that'll indicate to these teams they may come down pit road.
Well, Andrew's going to have to depend on his pit crew to get that right rear fixed and get him back out here to try to make a charge up through the field in the closing laps, because the way it sits right now, and again, we still have a lot of racing to go, his points lead in the championship is in jeopardy right now as he runs 13th, and some of the other drivers who are ahead of him in the championship are running a lot further up in the order here, including 74, our pole sitter Kevin Lacroix, who came in here just 11 points back of Andrew Ranger, and right now Lacroix in car number 74 was being shown there, I believe, inside of the top 10 in about 7th position. So he's several positions ahead of Ranger, and Ranger's definitely going to have to come on a pit road here, while the 74 car should be able to go the rest of the way to the checkered flag.
So the field coming around turns 9 and 10. Looks like Simone Dionvien in the 37 heading into the pits. Andrew Ranger making his way down towards the pits, and now that right rear starting to shred. Man, I can't believe how long it went, but it's starting to really flap around there, but looks like still no body damage really flying off the 27 machine.
Well, we welcome those race fans who have joined us here in the last little while at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. We welcome you to the Chevrolet Silverado 250. Pat Gonzalez and Adam Ross here in the broadcast booth, as we have had a very eventful Total Quartz 200, all kinds of full course yellows, all kinds of lead changes, and right now we're waiting for the service to be done on the Andrew Ranger 27 Mopar Dodge. We'll see how quickly they can get him back out here, because I would think within a couple of laps we should be set to go back to green flag racing, but it's going to be maybe 7 or 8 laps is all that they might be able to get in here, as we still run under the full course yellow.
No word on them going 1 to go this time, but they have all the way until corner 5 to make that determination.
Working lap 41, so next time by, the indication will be 10 laps to go. Alex Tagliani, your race leader, 22. Marc-Antoine Camarand, who started 3rd, sitting in 2nd. Then the 1 of Anthony Simoni. DJ Kennington up into 4th. DJ has been quietly making his way up through the field here, qualified 9th fastest. And of course, he'll be racing later on this afternoon in the Chevrolet Silverado 250. The 33 car rounding out the top 5, Kevin Poitras out of Toronto in the Chevrolet. And then in 6th is the 37 of Simon Dion Vienne, and then the 74 of our pole sitter, Kevin Lacroix. And then behind Lacroix, 59, Gary Clute in 8th. The 04 of JF Dhumal in 9th. And rounding out the top 10 is 56. And that is the Malcolm Strawn Chevrolet out of Toronto. Still under the full course yellow. The lights are still on the Chevrolet Camaro safety car as it rolls through turn number 8. Alex Tagliani right at the front of the field. They'll be forming up into their row, so he'll have the 22 car of Marc-Antoine Camerand alongside. So a couple of Chevrolets will be up there in row 1 as the field makes its way off at turn 10 and on the start-finish straightaway to complete the 41st lap. It is 10 laps to go, and still waiting here as Andrew Ranger in car number 27 will return to pit road as they continue to do the work on the right rear of the Mopar Dodge, trying to get him patched up and back out here to salvage as many points as he can, because right now it looks like we may have a brand new NASCAR Pinty Series points leader coming out of Canadian Tire Motorsport Park today. Ranger had that slim 11-point advantage over 74 Kevin Lacroix, and then the 47 of LP Dumoulin was just 17 points back. So it is really going to tighten up the points picture. And for a driver such as Alex Tagliani, who is a little bit further back, this will be an opportunity for Tagliani to tighten things up even further. So I'm not sure if there was some kind of a penalty there for Ranger. We'll get an update from Adam Ross, but Andrew Ranger is back out onto the racetrack, and we'll see just how far up through the field he'll be able to run here as we prepare to go back to green, either on this lap or maybe one more lap after that, as they're still checking over the racetrack. Looks like perhaps some debris there is that they're picking up there on the racetrack. That may have come off the car of Andrew Ranger, and in fact there's quite a few pieces there in the corner. That's up in turn number 8 at the entrance to the S's.
So they have said some fascinating things have just happened over the radio. They are 1 to go this time by, and they have called the 27 of Andrew Ranger to pit road to repair the bodywork on that car. And Pat, I don't understand why they didn't do that when he was in the pits. You could see the bodywork was hanging off. Take the time to secure it. Just a big risk.
Well, he did come in a second time while you were doing your information gathering there, Adam. So Andrew Ranger's got his work cut out for him here. That 11-point advantage that he had over 74 Kevin Lacroix looks like it's going to go by the board, and we're going to get set to go back to racing here at what will be the end of lap 42. So it's going to be a 9-lap shootout here in the Total Quartz 200 at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
If anyone is capable of driving back through the field and gaining those spots, it's Andrew Ranger, but boy, oh boy, what a turn of events here at CTMP in the Total Quartz 200. Alex Tagliani, Marc-Antoine Cameron going to bring him back to the restart. Anthony Simoni, talk about a driver who is hungry for success. Anthony Simoni and that Silverline Tools #1.
They work off at turn number 9. Tagliani in that Rona EpiPen, the St. Hubert Chevrolet Cameron 22 right up alongside DJ Kennington and Anthony Simoni. Don't count them out. Tagliani will bring them up across the line, and the green flag is out. Back into turn number 1, and it is Tagliani who will hold off the 22. But taking a dive in on the inside was Simoni, getting a little bit of out of shape as he tried to get around the 22 of Marc-Antoine Cameron.
Anthony Simoni has never won in the NASCAR Pinty Series. He has come so close on a number of occasions, a gifted road course racer in that #1 machine. He is having a great run here this afternoon as we have a look at LP Dhumal and the WeatherTech 47 on the outside of Malcolm Strong. Big problems for the Strong number 56. He is off the pace.
Tough break there as well. Both 74, Kevin Lacroix, and 27, Andrew Ranger, are trying to charge back up through the field. Here's Ranger. He'll tuck in on the inside of that 47 car. Can't get around. The 3 of Hathaway also trying to make up ground as they work up the Andretti straightaway here on lap number 42.
Into the final stages of this NASCAR Pinty Series race. It's Alex Tagliani out in front of his teammate Marc-Antoine Cameron. Kevin Lacroix up into the top 5, trying to get to the inside of DJ Kennington. He'll swing out of turn number 9, make the move to the inside of turn 10, side by side down the front straightaway.
And Kevin Lacroix has gone around DJ Kennington up into that 4th place position down into turn number 1. Lacroix picks up the position. DJ Kennington will tuck right in, and then the 04 of JF Dumoulin all over DJ Kennington up into turn number 2. Kennington trying to defend a spot on the inside. The 04 of JF Dumoulin all over DJ Kennington. Here's the run back into turn number 3, and it'll be 04 Dumoulin who will muscle that car by DJ Kennington.
Our big cojones move of the race. JF Dumoulin hanging on the outside. Wow. Okay, that's a runoff area for the 56.
That's down in Moss Corner, so 56 after having a great run earlier. Malcolm Strong's day will end at Moss Corner as he's pulled the car well off of the racetrack. Not in any danger there. Will continue to go green. Up the Andretti straightaway, it is 18, Alex Tagliani, who continues to lead the battle. But here comes Kevin Lacroix in car number 74. He's back in 4th, and he is catching that front-running group of Tagliani 18, the 22 of Marc-Antoine Cameron, and the number 1 of Anthony Simoni.
The top 3 right together. A bit of a gap back to 74 of Kevin Lacroix. Gary Clewd in that 59, I'm really impressed. After that hard contact into the inside wall, the car still seems to be up to speed. They're still calling the 27 of Andrew Ranger to pit road. So whatever they secured on that body was not to the liking of race officials. So Raymond Gay in the 20, he is on pit road, but the officials just made it very clear they still want the 27 in the pit.
Well, we'll see what the situation might be there with Ranger. If he stays out onto the racetrack, is there some kind of a penalty? Raymond Gay onto the pit road with the left front damage to his race car. Meanwhile, out on the racetrack, Alex Tagliani into Moss Corner in car number 18, the 22 of Cameron. Simoni having a great run here in 3rd, but Kevin Lacroix continues to inch closer to this front-running group of 4 as the laps wind down. We're working lap number 45, so next time by, it'll be 6 laps to go to the checkered flag.
Also getting into this fray, the 04 of JF Dumoulin. This is what he did at Trois Riviera. He had to work his way through the field there as well. At the front, it's Alex Tagliani. He's built himself a little bit of a lead over the 22 of Cameron. Cameron's got a rear view mirror full of Anthony Simoni, and then right behind them, it's Lacroix and Dumoulin. And here goes Andrew Ranger onto pit road in that Mopar 27.
This is heartbreak for the championship points leader coming into the weekend. Andrew Ranger had high hopes for a win or at least the podium finish, and now sadly the Mopar Dodge comes onto pit road. This is going to totally take him out of even a top 15 finish.
Yeah, this is catastrophe for Ranger and Dave White and the rest of that crew, but the look at the top 5 all together on the racetrack with 5 laps to go this time by in the Total Courts 200. Alex Tagliani leading the way. We have never had it. We've never had it, to our knowledge, 2 podium finishes here in this truck weekend for a driver in the Pinty Series and in the Truck Series. Alex Tagliani, one of the drivers, are hoping to achieve that.
Well, first of all, he's got to handle the win here. Right now, he's got about 4 car lengths over that 22 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. So Chevrolet's run 1-2, and then it is Simoni in car number 1 in the Dodge, followed by the 74 Dodge of Kevin Lacroix, and then the 04. They get around that 20 car going into the top of the S's, Raymond Gay, back out onto the racetrack and on the start-finish straightaway. Front running 5 cars. Here's 04. JF Dumoulin got a great drive off of turn 10 as they roll across the line and into turn 1. He'll tuck back in behind the 74 of Kevin Lacroix. So Alex Tagliani leads them up to turn 2, followed by 22 Cameron in second. Simoni in that blue and white Silverline Tools entry in third, then 74 Lacroix and the 04 of JF Dumoulin.
Kevin Lacroix had looked to the inside of Anthony Simoni as they were passing Raymond Gay. That had allowed JF Dumoulin to try to make a move through 9 and 10, so they were getting a little jostled around there. Cost them all some ground at the top 2, but they're trying to close back in now.
And the rest of your top 10 behind that front running 5, it is DJ Kennington in 6th. Jason Hathaway runs in 7th. The 47 up there in 8th is LP Dumoulin. Then in the 9th place spot behind them is 37 Simone Dion Vienne. But up front, those 5 drivers continue to go at it. And right now, Tagliani is starting to inch away. Alex Tagliani starting to take control. He wants nothing of a last lap battle through the last couple of corners. And here's Lacroix on the inside, and he'll grab that position. So Kevin Lacroix up into the 3rd place spot. That'll put Anthony Simoni to 4th. And then the 04 in the 5th place position is Jean-Francois Dumoulin.
A power move by Kevin Lacroix, sweeps to the outside, coming off turn number 9, clears Simoni down into 10, and now will set his sights on the 22 of Marc-Antoine Cameron. He's about 10 car lengths behind the 2nd place Cameron. Is now JF Dumoulin trying to find a way around the 1 of Simoni as they work through turn 3.
About 3.5 laps remaining in the Total Quartz 200 here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. 5 drivers locked together in a battle up front. Alex Tagliani will bring them back up into Moss Corner. 2nd place runner, 22, Marc-Antoine Cameron, and a hard-charging pole sitter, Kevin Lacroix, came into the event just 11 back of Andrew Ranger, and it looks like he may be the driver coming out of this weekend with the points lead going to the final month of racing in the NASCAR Pinty Series.
Down into turn number 8. Alex Tagliani continuing to lead the way. He's running some impressive laps here, maintaining that advantage. But Marc-Antoine Cameron is closing the gap on the race leader. Back in 3rd, it's Kevin Lacroix, who's continuing his march towards the front. And JF Dumoulin looking for his 2nd consecutive podium finish on the road courses here in the NASCAR Pinty Series.
Looking at
Andrew, trouble in 10.
Indeed, 2 cars come together. We've got a car into the wall here in turn number 10, and this is going to bring out a very late full course yellow. It is the 33 car hard into the wall. Kevin Poitras out of Toronto, the Chevrolet. Looks like he got into contact with another driver coming into 10, and the car just slid into that outside tire wall. The safety crews on the incident right away, but we go to a full course yellow now with the laps winding down, and that was the completion of lap 48, working lap 49 of a schedule 51. Do we look at overtime, or are we going to finish this under a full course yellow?
Oh, they won't finish it under a full course yellow.
Okay.
No, we are going to overtime. How many overtimes they attempt is up to the NASCAR officials, but we will definitely have an attempt at NASCAR overtime. So JF Lebay through turns 9 and 10 was battling with the 33 of Kevin Poitras. He got to the inside going into 10, and whatever happened, I don't know if it surprised Poitras that he was on the inside. They made a little bit of contact, and Poitras' car just veered straight into the tire wall. Good news for Kevin Poitras. He is out of the car, shaking his head, and now getting the safety equipment off.
Well, of course, they do have those Hans devices that they use. Tough break for Poitras. He was having a pretty good battle there with the 91, and there was definitely contact on the inside. Looked like JF Lebay in that Dodge tried to get through on the inside, made contact, and put him off the racetrack and into the tire wall. He'll walk into the ambulance, will be checked over by the medical personnel, but appears to be just fine. And so now we prepare for what is going to be another fantastic finish here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. And we're not even into the truck races yet here, Adam. Alex Tagliani, he is going to have that 22 car alongside, but right behind him on the racetrack is going to be our pole sitter, Kevin Lacroix, who right now, unless something dramatic changes here at the conclusion of this one, is going to come out of the run here this weekend with the points lead in the NASCAR Pinty Series.
Well, this accident was actually the worst thing to happen for Kevin Lacroix because he was in third and Andrew Ranger was not within striking distance. With this yellow, Andrew Ranger is going to be able to try to work some of his magic, and the multi-time champion in the NASCAR Pinty Series definitely knows how to get it done and make passes late in the running. So he's going to have an opportunity to do just that with laps winding down. Pit road will be open this time by, so things moving fairly quickly in this yellow. I wish I knew for sure if Alex Tagliani, in that number 18, remember how early he ducked onto pit lane early on in the EpiPen Rona number 18 and they took on fuel. I wish I knew whether he went back into the pits at any point to top up. I do know that DJ Kennington ducked back into the pits and took on fuel in that Casserole Edge 17, because as we get into extra laps, we've run a lot of laps under yellow, which is much better for the fuel mileage on these engines. But even still, anytime you go into NASCAR overtime, you wonder, did these teams pack enough fuel into the race cars? As Ken's towing, removing the 33 Kevin Poitras from the racetrack. A great job by the safety crew to get things cleaned up in a big hurry. He'll go counter race down through turn number 10 and make that hard, well, now what becomes a hairpin turn onto pit road to get the car off the racing surface and out of harm's way. That was a sharp-looking car, that 33 machine of Poitras. Little bit shorter than it was at the start of this event. Alex Tagliani, the Rona EpiPen number 18. Is going to lead them back to green when the time comes. Pit road is open. Don't expect anybody near the front of this field to take advantage of that. Further back, you might see some people duck in. Anthony Simoni up in the 4th position. It has been a long time. It has been a long time since Anthony Simoni has been on the podium of a NASCAR Pinty Series race. He has never won in the NASCAR Pinty Series. So the 20 of Raymond Gay, after serving a couple of pit road speeding penalties, he got caught speeding on pit road. He came in to serve a pass-through penalty, got another pit road speeding penalty. The second penalty was a stop and go on pit road. Now he's getting the free pass, so he should be back on the lead lap. Look down through the scoring pylon. 13 cars on the lead lap. Andrew Ranger is scored in the 12th position. Julia Landauer in 13th. This could be a great opportunity for Julia to pick up some positions. He was pretty racy earlier on. And then Raymond Gay will be back on the lead lap. So that'll put 14 cars on the lead lap, which is a good thing for Andrew Ranger in the 27, and he can make up more points as this race draws to a close. So expect that Mopar 27 to be super aggressive when this race resumes, and we are going 1 to go in turn number 5. It'll be a green-white checker finish. To my knowledge, the start-finish line is what they use for an overtime line. Waiting for the officials. He's explaining it on the radio right now. So this will be our first attempt at NASCAR overtime green-white checker. And again, he didn't explain the overtime line, but to my knowledge, it's always the start-finish line. So if they take the white flag, the next flag ends the race. If carnage happens before the white flag, they will throw the yellow and then determine if they're going to have another attempt at NASCAR overtime.
Well, we're coming up to the completion of the scheduled race distance in the Total Quartz 200. 51 laps will be on the board next time by, and they'll be looking to get the green flag to kick off what hopefully is a 2-lap shootout for the win. Alex Tagliani up there on the front row as they form up. The lights have been turned off on the Chevrolet Camaro safety car. The second row will have that 74 car of Kevin Lacroix, the one of Anthony Simoni. And the rest of the drivers form up. They're rolling under the Canadian Tire walkover bridge into turn 8. And now as they swing through turn number 9, the pace car will head for pit road. And then it'll be up to the 2 drivers there up on row 1, Alex Tagliani and the 22 of Marc-Antoine Cameron, to bring them out of turn 10 on the start-finish straightaway, looking for the green. And hopefully we got a nice clean green start out of turn 10. They work on the start-finish straightaway and lined up looking for the green as they come to the line, and there it is, racing down into turn 1.
Super aggressive couple front rows here. The top 2 rows are 4 of the most aggressive drivers in our series. Kevin Lacroix up into the second place at the exit of turn number 1. They're side by side for third between Marc-Antoine Cameron and the 22, the 04 of JF Dhumal.
And the driver who got shuffled back there was Simoni in car number 1. He's going to be back in about the 5th place position as the 04 car of JF Dhumal was able to slide through on the inside. Here is Andrew Ranger trying to pick off positions off at turn number 3 as they head to that fast left-hander at turn 4, and Ranger ducks in. Looks like he's back just outside of the top 10. Andrew Ranger trying to pick up as many championship points as he can, because right now it looks like this one's going to be a 2-driver shootout. Can the pole sitter Kevin Lacroix catch Alex Tagliani in car number 18 right now up the Andretti straightaway? Tagliani's got about a 7-car length advantage.
It'll be the white flag in the air once they come around turn number 10, and there will be 1 lap to go in this NASCAR overtime. Tagliani has stretched it out off the exit of turn 8 into 9 down towards turn 10, but Kevin Lacroix is closing the gap. 1 more lap to go. Cameron up into 3rd, JF Dhumal into 4th. Andrew Ranger worked his way into the top 10, and they've crashed. Oh, Donald Teague and LP Dhumal crashing in turn number 10. Both drivers able to carry on.
And so they continue. We continue green, less than a lap to go. Andrew Ranger had worked his way up into the 9th place position. The lead battle out of turn 2. It's just about 2 car lengths into the right-hander at 3. Alex Tagliani trying to hold on, but that bumper-to-bumper dodge of pole sitter Kevin Lacroix is all over him. Lacroix struggling to try to get close enough to have a run here at the race leader.
Down through turn number 4, up the hill into turn 5. Kevin Lacroix right there on the back bumper of Tagliani. They close in, and it'll be a drag race down the Mario Andretti straightaway.
And out of turn 5B, Lacroix trying to close here on Tagliani, but he's got a very stout race car. Tagliani gets a great drive out of the hairpin and again stretches out about 6 car lengths up the Andretti straightaway into the top of the S's for the final time.
Down into turn number 8, Kevin Lacroix closes the distance on Tagliani. They'll come up through 9. Lacroix loves this move. He swings to the inside into 10. Contact in turn 10. Tagliani out to the wall. He saves it, but Kevin Lacroix is going to win the Total Quartz 200. Holy moly, what a move. Cameron second, Dhumal in third. What a race, ladies and gentlemen. We are headed to victory lane.
Unbelievable. Adam, before you go, that was close. I'm not sure if the officials are going to look at that. There was room on the inside. Lacroix got there. There was definitely contact. Tagliani doing an incredible job to hold on to, I believe, about a 4th place finish. But officially across the line, here are the 2.
And Tagliani wrecks him.
Indeed.
Tagliani into Lacroix. I'm not going to victory lane. I want to call the fight. It takes a little bit of time to get out of these race cars. Kevin Lacroix wants none of that. He takes off at Rubbin's racing. Heck, in the truck series, that'd be a clean finish for CTMP.
Oh my goodness, what a finish here in the Total Quartz 200. Tagliani with the lead coming in at turn number 10. Lacroix storming up the inside. There was definitely contact pushing the Tagliani truck or the Tagliani car. He'll be in the truck race later, pushing Alex Tagliani wide. He managed to gather it back under control as Kevin Lacroix makes his way out of the turn 5 area and up the straightaway. But there is Tagliani. He's just parked over there by turn number 3. I'm not sure if there was a problem with the race car. Maybe they cut it a little too close on fuel, and he is out of fuel.
I want to tell a story about Riverside International Speedway last weekend. There was a green-white checkered. Lacroix had the opportunity to win the race, got knocked up the racetrack, wound up outside of the top 5. About half hour after the race, I saw him with a big smile. He says, that's NASCAR racing, a green-white checkered. This week, he's on the business end of that. He's on the winning end, and he's got the one finger in the air that he's the winner. We often see one finger in the air on the cool-down lap at CTMP.
Yeah,
it's not always the pointer. I'm going to head to victory lane, Pat.
Not that digit. We'll be checking in with Adam Ross for our post-race interviews and the presentations. But here at the end of the Total Quartz 200, 53 laps completed. The win going to Kevin Lacroix, 74. The 22 of Marc-Antoine Cameron in second. The 04 of J.F. Dhumal in third. And then in fourth was the 18 of Alex Tagliani. Fifth, the number 1 of Anthony Simoni. That is your top 5. And then behind Simoni, Jason Hathaway in 6th, DJ Kennington 7th. 8 was 37, Simone Dion Vienne, and then Andrew Ranger in 9th. And then back in 10th was the 28th car rolling up across the line, Julia Landauer, coming back to grab that 10th place finish. So the 74, our pole sitter Kevin Lacroix with the checkered flag lap as he makes his way around the racetrack. But I'm sure they're going to be talking about this finish for quite a while as Kevin Lacroix got inside of the race leader, Alex Tagliani. There was definitely some major contact there. Tagliani doing a great job of gathering that car back up to get 4th across the line. But across the stripe, it was Lacroix 74, your winner 22, Marc-Antoine Cameron in second, and the driver getting up there to grab that 3rd place spot was J.F. Dhumal in the Dodge. So Jim Martin, maybe that's just a preview of what we can see coming up later on in the Chevrolet Silverado 250 NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series. That was one wild and woolly finish. And of course, it is really going to turn the championship point standings upside down. Andrew Ranger finishing back in 9th. I think he'll salvage some points there, but I think he's going to surrender the points lead.
No, I'm afraid that may indeed be the case. And as you mentioned earlier, this is a forerunner of things to come. We've seen some of the trucks. From time to time, it's been a challenge for the trucks to get around that last corner on the last lap. But it's always fun to watch. And if nothing else, as is almost always the case, it's going to sell a lot of seats for the viewing areas around turn number 10. That's for sure. Boy, what a race! And I'm crushed as far as Alex Tagliani. Like he did so well. He had the things all like completely well in hand until he came into turn number 8 on that last lap. He had more than a car length lead everywhere on the racetrack for the last 2 laps of the green-white checkered finish that we just witnessed. He certainly seemed to have things entirely together, but Kevin Lacroix knew exactly what he had to do. and got it done in turns number 8, 9, and 10 in the last lap. Felt sorry for Alex Tagliani. I'm certainly grateful to see that he managed to collect enough of the car at the exit of turn number 10 to get across the line in 4th spot. It could have been far, far worse, that's for sure. But on the other hand, well, Alex waited for him up at the top of turn number 3, and let him know what he really thought about the pass in turn number 10. And I think everybody that was near a television screen around the racetrack has a very good understanding of what Alex thought about the last lap of the race. It had to be a crusher because he had things going so very, very well. And if anything else, it'll give him the opportunity a little bit later on, to maybe learn from what has happened in this race during the contest later on today when we see the NASCAR Gander Outdoor Truck Series machinery take to the racetrack at 2:30. There's a ton of things happening between now and then. Of course, the victory podium ceremony. Adam Ross headed down that way.